It's time for today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now. In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, a lot of people have been waiting and sitting idly by in great expectations across the country and in many legal circles to see who was on this Jeffrey Epstein list in this civil lawsuit, where all of these individuals had been named who had been taking a number of trips to the Epstein Island, the notorious orgy island of teenage sex with teenage girls and older men. And some of the names on that list in particular, some of the most prominent names that stand out is a famous attorney out of New York, Alan Dershowitz, another individual who's also famous, Bill Slick Willie Clinton. There's some serious names on that list, tech moguls on that list. But what bothers me about this is even Donald Trump's name was on the list. But what bothers me about it is the judge says the names that are being released are those that they have no information or evidence that suggests they did anything criminal whatsoever. If that's the case, I think it would have been better not to release somebody's name that's on a notorious list like that with those who did criminal acts. Don't release those names who didn't do anything, and there's no evidence to suggest that they did. Even the one girl who gave great testimony at length during the depositions said she never gave Donald Trump a massage, never met Donald Trump, but just because he went to the island, then he was implicated along with others.
Well, there are a number of people that didn't go to the island but were still implicated, right? Clinton, there was no evidence he ever went to the island, but he did fly on the jet a bunch, and there was some testimony that she was told, one of the victims was told that he likes his girls young. There was testimony about Alan Dershowitz, right, who is from Massachusetts, not New York, I know, because I've had dinner in his house.
He practiced in New York, though.
He practices all over the place, but he's based in Boston. I had him for his tactics and ethics, brilliant legal mind. And the big difference with Professor Dershowitz is that he aggressively filed lawsuits when he was accused. And they backed down and they recanted, right? He was, a lot of people sat quietly. We're talking about the Prince Andrew, right? We're talking about the orgies and all the horrible stuff that he's been linked to that has ruined his career. You do have CEOs of corporations and other things who, it appears, have some pretty damning, but when you say there's no evidence, well, rape is always just based typically on not CSI forensic evidence, it's based on the testimony of the victim and the testimony of witnesses. So we do have a wealth of testimony about some of the most powerful people in the world. And you're right, Donald Trump was not named as, he was mentioned frequently, not as frequently as Slick Willie, but he wasn't named as someone that was ever observed having sex or participating in massages or anything. But Alan Dershowitz was aggressive, he sued, he was fighting for his name, and they backed down, which says to me the possibility exists that some people were falsely accused for the purposes of litigation. But here's my thought. I want to know all the names. I want to know all the stories. I think us as the fact finders of the world can make our decisions on who we believe and who we don't believe. Because covering it up makes it seem very suspicious. And I will tell you, I don't believe Epstein killed himself. I don't think all the cameras are going to break on somebody that they were already on a suicide watch, who had already alleged that he was attacked. I find it all to be all too damn convenient.
I believe that was an inside job and an assassination.
I think covering it up has been an inside job too. There's still two names that were not getting released in the way that was.
But here's my problem with that.
People you knew.
Why the politicians' names that are on the list, not one of their names have been released.
Well, Bill Clinton,
you and I both know
right.
If politicians were going to that island, what the hell they were getting involved in. And you and I both know Bill Clinton, as freaky as Bill Clinton was, the things he did in the Oval Office, he would have no problem doing on the Epstein Island.
Here's the thing that people don't
talk
talk
about. But not innocent
about.
people's names
you
being
never
released
hear
on that list.
Bill, you talk about Bill Clinton being unfaithful to Hillary. You talk about him lying about
No, he was unfaithful to the country. Right, he came before the whole world and said these words.
Can I finish?
I did not have sex with that
He
woman.
most certainly lied and he parsed the meaning of sex. But here's the thing, what is often missed is this was a 22-year-old intern and the most powerful man in the world, right? No one talks about the misogyny, the control, the sexual harassment, possibly coerced sexual relationship where he did deviant things to this very young woman. The man is a pervert. I don't know if he's a pedophile, but his involvement with Epstein, because here's the thing. If you were around R. Kelly back in the day, you knew he was a freak. You knew that he had a attraction to young girls, whether it was Aaliyah, who he went after when she was this fragile young thing, whether it was these girls that had videotaped he
hold
peed
on, brother.
and the same
Let's keep
thing.
this discussion on all the white guys who went to Epstein Island. This is
talking
not a
about
debate
perverts.
about R. Kelly.
See, you're making this
and you
about
got
race.
a whole laundry
But
list
here's
of
the thing.
perverts
If
of
you
all
are
the
around-
white boys that
if-
went to Epstein Island.
I'm not
Let's keep it
shocked.
right there.
I'm not
we'll
shocked.
talk about R. Kelly some other time.
I'm absolutely not shocked that you would defend a pedophile based on his skin
I'm not
color.
defending him.
But-
I'm keeping us on point and not mixing apples and artichokes.
Are you really talking about keeping us on point?
Absolutely, because
here's the thing.
Epstein
Here's my point.
should be
Here's
implicated
my
in what he
point.
did with his
Here
cohorts.
is
but
my
of course
point.
he's dead. Dead
Here's
man can't
my
talk.
point. My point is that if you're around Epstein, you knew he was a freak. You knew he was a pedophile. You knew he was an awful person. And yet you choose to be around. The richest man in the world, Bill Gates, right? His wife has said publicly that she left him because he continued his relationship with Epstein after he was charged. He continued a business with him. Well, why the hell? When you got all the damn money in the world.
He probably had a lot of dirt on the man.
Right. Why? Because that's what Epstein trafficked in. And there's rumors that he was Mossad. There's rumors that he was CIA. But we know the picture of Clinton in the blue dress, the painting that was in his house. He had a picture of George W. Bush as well. I mean, we know that there was blackmail. We know that there's been a cover-up. And I think this is a great day for America for us to find out that some of the people that some people look up to very...
It's not a great day.
That it's fantastic.
You know why?
We need the damn
because
truth in this country.
There's nobody that's been released on the list that they're saying publicly. Now, this is someone who was also criminally investigated, and also women testified that yes, they slept with this particular individual.
No, but there are
nobody on that list has been released on that list.
Prince Andrew, there's testimony.
Now, I agree with you.
Dershowitz, although I disagree with it, there was testimony.
Female testimony said that he did.
Right.
But now Andrew, that's a different ballgame. This fool settled the lawsuit.
Hey, did you hear about
So why in the hell would you settle a lawsuit like that with those allegations if you were not guilty?
Hey, man, that guy, he looks like a creepy inbred royal pervert, right? That's the honest to God truth. You hear about Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of stuff that I think we need to know because we don't need to have people on a pedestal that don't deserve that pedestal. Bill Clinton loved by the black community. Loved, frequently back in the day, called the first black president, right?
Because he played a saxophone.
Yeah, on the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But we, as Americans, need to know. I want to know if Trump's a pervert. I want to know if Clinton's a pervert.
Let us know
I want to
those who were criminally investigated.
Oh, no. Let's get all the names. Who you covering up for, Quadell?
Don't give me some flunkies.
Who you covering up for?
Don't give me some flunkies.
You
Don't
worried
give me
about
some
Obama
underlings.
being on that list?
Oh, no, he wouldn't be on that list.
Oh, there's some suggestions that he was.
No, he wouldn't be on that list. Not our brother.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
You know, Quanell, after years of back and forth and some assertions that even President Obama stepped in to try to save her job, former Harvard president Claudine Gay has stepped down from her position. She's keeping her $900,000 a year salary. She's keeping her tenure at the university. But the school's first African-American president, a school that I attended, one of my 3 degrees is from that university, she has stepped down. She published a non-apology statement where she blamed racism and conservatism for her removal. The truth is that when testifying to Congress, she refused to condemn violent anti-Semitism directed at Jewish students on her Ivy League campus. And then it was discovered that, and it was well known that she had very little scholarship. She had never written a book. She only had a very small number of published essays, that published works. But it turns out that she had an incredible amount of plagiarism, right? Initially it was dismissed as technical language and accidents, but as it continued to snowball, it made it very clear that despite, and I know for a fact that university leans very heavy on both school policy and instructing students what is and what is not plagiarism, it has finally forced her to step down. And she is crying racism, and she is talking about all the racism she experienced in her life, which I don't know. I don't know her life, and I don't know her existence. But I think her ascendancy paints a very accurate portrait of how we are checking boxes over reality. This is a woman that's parents, it's my understanding, incredibly wealthy, concrete magnates from Haiti. Now, I don't know how you become incredibly wealthy from Conkeet in a country, a war-torn country like that.
The same way the white
But
folks
hold on,
do.
right, I'm sure, yes. She attended Exeter, the most exclusive private high school in this country. Then she went to Princeton, the most exclusive undergraduate institution in this country, then Stanford, then Harvard, and then ascended quickly up through based on her championing of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then during her tenure, you're looking at a university that when you take students, break them down by race, right, and look at their performance, the African American students in the top decile have a 56% chance of being admitted. Similarly situated Asian and white students have a 12 and 13% chance. Overwhelming evidence of disparity and discrimination in admission to that school that she championed. I think we need to get back to merit in America right away.
Now let me start with the end of what you said.
Okay, go ahead.
There's never been a such thing as merit in America. Every
That's not
time a
true.
black person would meet those merits and meet those standards, we would still be overlooked because we were black. In America, black people never should have had to fight for equal rights or equality of white supremacy at every level of America's academic institutions didn't hold black leadership back. And so when you say get back to merit, there was always black men and women who met those standards, who met those qualifications, who was overlooked for white counterparts with lesser qualifications and lesser standards. So let's not pretend, Charles, that merit has always been the grading standard in America when it comes to black people. So I don't care if our family was rich. I don't care if she went to fine, prestigious white institutions of higher learning. At the end of the day, there's one reality she cannot escape when it comes to racist white folk in America. She is black.
Okay.
So now, if you think
her
that your
race
academic
is why she kept her job so
escapes you
long.
from racism,
because the
no,
white
ma'am.
University
No,
of
sir, you're
Pennsylvania,
wrong.
she was out immediately. She was out immediately. She kept her
She
job this
resigned
long.
immediately,
She
but
kept
that
her
black
job.
woman stood up
She
for
kept
her
her job
and
because of
refused
her
to be
race.
bullied.
She got her job because of her race, and she kept
That's
her
a
job.
damn lie.
And you talk about
See, it's
everyone
racist
agrees.
white folk
and
like
no,
you.
everyone agrees.
Every time a black
everyone
person
agrees.
get a position,
there are
she got it
black
because of her
professors
race.
who agree that she didn't have the academic
White
pedigree.
racist professors
She didn't
in
have the
academia talk
accomplishments.
like that about this woman.
Absolutely not true. It was well agreed that she lacked the
agreed with who?
scholarship to attain the position of the presidency. And she refused to protect free speech, but also at the same time protect Jewish kids from violence and violent threats. This is a woman who now still hasn't apologized for cheating,
Charles,
for plagiarism.
What she refused to do with the anti-Semitic issue before Congress, she refused to say that she would deny students the right of freedom of speech
That's not true.
and the constitutional right of freedom of expression.
That's not true.
Is distasteful as that
Congresswoman
language may
Stefanik,
be,
a Harvard graduate
as
herself,
as the language may be,
asked very directed.
Americans still have a constitutional right
You do not have
to
a constitutional right to threaten people's lives.
No, Charles.
That's terroristic
Charles,
threat.
they should be
and it's a
prosecuted
violation
if
of
they
school
threaten,
policy.
Charles.
And you're talking
But
about
any
the law
criticism of
versus
Israel
school policy.
don't make you
Let
anti-Semitic.
me tell you something. If
Criticism
people,
of Israel don't make you anti-Semitic,
if
Charles.
people-
Nelson Mandela criticized
if
Israel.
people-
Was he a
No,
racist?
I'm not talking
Mother
about
Teresa
criticizing
criticized Israel.
I'm talking
Was
about
she racist?
threatening Jewish kids. That's
she,
a whole
she
difference.
threatened nobody.
No, I don't think she did, but she allowed them to be threatened.
Charles,
and here's the
she
deal.
can't stop
but
people
hey, why are
from
you
saying
talking
what
about
they
it?
say.
Because she's a plagiarist. She cheated. And when you cheat in Ivy League schools, you get thrown out. And it shouldn't be different rules because of your skin color. And you're right.
Charles,
for years.
I'm against
for
plagiarism.
years.
I'm against plagiarism. But
Apparently but not if a black woman
in
does it.
white academia have been guilty of the same
And they
thing
should all be fired.
and kept their jobs.
And here's the thing. Here's one
Many
big-
politicians
Hold on.
were guilty of plagiarism when it came to their damn resumes,
And-
but still kept their jobs.
well,
Bill
they
Clinton
should all
and
be
Joe
fired.
Biden was guilty of it, but still became president.
Well,
So
Joe
let's
Biden,
not pretend
hold on,
like plagiarism
hold on.
just started with
Plagiarism
black folks in
shut down
academia.
Biden's campaign in 1988. It shut down his campaign because he stole speeches. But more importantly, what this is about is academic integrity, and all the rules should apply. And you're right. Before the 70s, a horrible discrimination against black kids. But since the 70s, the Ivy League has had the most aggressive, the most aggressive affirmative action to the point now it is majority minority
This was
and
about
white kids
sending
and
a
Asian
message
kids.
to that black woman.
Oh, bull.
That no matter how many degrees you are, no matter where you work at
Absolutely
Harvard,
not.
you still a Negro in the eyes of racist
Oh, that's
white folk.
absolutely absurd.
You're still a Negro.
She's a liar and a cheater.
She's still a Negro to white folks.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, there's a lot of talk going on in America, in the black community in particular, about a podcast show called Club Shay, hosted by former Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, who played tight end with the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl winning tight end, very well-respected former athlete. Well, he was sitting down this time of one of his episodes with Katt Williams, one of the most living legends in comedy, black comedy in particular, in America. Katt Williams said some very powerful things that has angered many of his counterparts in the world of comedy. He called them out by name, Steve Harvey. He called out Cedric the Entertainer. He called out Taraji P. Henson. He called out Ricky Smiley from the Houston area in particular, and said that these men and women were lying about who they really are. They have really compromised themselves in the eyes of Hollywood. And he went on further to say that Hollywood targets black comedians to make them into something that they are not and never should be. He pointed out to even make them be involved in homosexual acts. He spoke about playing the role of Money Mike in the movie Friday, that in the original role, he was to be raped in that bathroom doing that scene with Terry Crews. But he told them that he would not play that role of a black man being raped in a bathroom, because that role would be just as successful without the rape. And he went on to say, I'm a comedian, but there's nothing funny about rape. There's nothing funny about sexual assault. So they rescinded that and allowed him to play the role. But Charles, many black men and women have been sexually compromised and sexually exploited and sexually taken advantage of in Hollywood by white men in particular, just to gain access and success in Hollywood.
Okay, well, first of all, know the culture. It was Friday After Next, not Friday. Friday being the far superior movie, because of course Chris Tucker, great job. Now we're talking about serious stuff. There were some allegations about Harvey Weinstein, but again, you framed it all as white man against black people, right? But the truth is, in Hollywood, it is powerful men against everyone, exploiting everyone, right? Harvey Weinstein isn't in prison for raping black women. He is in prison for raping white women, right? And there are people, that is an evil town that takes innocent people and not so innocent people and victimizes them and breaks them, while at the same damn time, Quanell, lecturing America on morality, lecturing America on racism, lecturing America on every damn topic you can think of, when they are a classist, racist, bigoted hellhole. So I know you want to frame this as bad whitey and attacking black people, but the truth is that the powerful in Hollywood have been destroying women's lives since the inception of Hollywood. When you talk about children, when you talk about pedophilia, we've been talking about Epstein, that all started in Hollywood. You talk about, just look at the star of Judy Garland, star of Wizard of Oz. Back then, they had her as a teenager, 14, 15 years old. They had her taking amphetamines and smoking cigarettes and only being able to drink black coffee every day. They did horrible things to women.
Who are they?
Well, they're the evil titans of Hollywood.
Those are evil white men.
Right, but you're talking
Those
about as if it's all white men.
It is, baby. Ain't no black folk been in power in Hollywood to sexually exploit nobody in Hollywood. All of that evil you're speaking of was participated and practiced and exploited by evil, rich, powerful white men in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
And that's why all of these white guys in Hollywood are being pulled down right now. And Puffy ain't in Hollywood. Don't bring that up.
Oh, you don't think Puffy's in Hollywood?
No, he ain't Hollywood.
You don't think
we
R.
talking
Kelly
about
was in
Hollywood right
Hollywood?
now.
You don't think?
Brother,
You don't
Katt
think
Williams spoke
there
the
are
truth
tons of monsters
about exploitation in Hollywood.
There's tons of monsters. You know, it doesn't. Your skin color, right? If you look at that, robberies, sexual assaults, and murders, overwhelmingly, in a disproportionate amount, black male criminals are responsible, right? But that, hold on, let me finish my damn sentence.
For black on black crime.
No, actually,
but white folks commit white crime against white folks too, Charles.
Yeah, you know, I agree.
Let's not pretend that.
I agree, but African American male criminals are far more likely to attack people of another race, and I think 5,600 times
African American men
more likely,
are more likely to be in poverty
it's not poverty.
in America.
Here's the thing: it's not poverty, and it's not skin color.
Poverty goes hand in hand with crime, Charles.
Let me finish. Well, when you look at impoverished white communities, but the truth is, racist people want to say it is your skin color that defines your ability to be a criminal, and that's crap.
No, we don't
buy
buy
that.
that. Black folk never bought that.
Hold on. But there were tons of racists that sold that, right? We remember in the 80s and 90s, every time they described a black criminal as thug, it was ghetto. They were using coded racist language. And now, the mainstream media, they refuse to mention race unless it's a white offender, right? Because they want to paint false portraits again. Where the truth is, it's not skin color that defines criminality. It's not skin color that defines perversion in Hollywood. It's perverts. White, black, brown,
Now,
Asian,
I will
whatever.
say this.
And we all need to reject perversion of Hollywood.
And
Instead of saying damn whitey, let's say damn perverts.
And the perversion in Hollywood is led by perverse white sick men, and damn those white sick men in Hollywood that have exploited every race in this country and sexually exploited every race in this country who wanted to be successful in Hollywood.
So
there ain't no black brothers down there doing that.
Okay.
That's them sick white boys in Hollywood.
You think it's okay to condemn white men generally because of the acts of individual white men?
No.
You do it all the time.
No, I don't do that.
You just did it right here.
That's how you want to interpret it.
No, what interpret
I
it?
said
You're always talking about
the
whitey.
group of
White devil.
men
You
in
call
Hollywood.
me. How
Not
many times?
one white man,
How many times?
the group of white
How many
men.
times have you said I'm in the Klan? You know I'm not in the Klan.
Charles,
You just say it
let me speak
because
to
you
that.
feel casual
Charles, let me
about
speak to
using
that.
pejoratives to condemn white people. That if a
Charles.
white person did that, they'd be cut,
Charles,
canceled,
let me
done.
Let me speak to that, Charles.
Okay, please.
I apologize for not getting your permission to help you come
Oh,
out
Jesus
of the
Christ.
closet.
You know, I thought for half a damn
and to
second.
step
Half
out
a damn
and let
second,
the world
Quadell.
know that,
I
that
thought
your hood is in
I
Trump and
thought
you
for
enjoy
half a
wearing your
second
hood
you were
and
going to be honest
you
about
got
this
a nice cross
situation.
you burn in the backyard, you know. But I'm sorry, Charles. I just thought that maybe I would help you come before.
You're going to help me
Let the people know
by
that.
saying that I got a sheet with holes in the back of my car.
No, you got expensive white sheet with no holes in it.
Okay,
But
I do have
anyway,
some expensive white
I
sheets in
bet
the house.
you
I
do,
got that
too.
1,000 thread count Egyptian
look
cotton.
look how you talking.
But Egyptian cotton.
don't use those to put 'em on
you know
his
what?
hood, though.
I sleep in it. I don't march in it. Okay. And the truth is that you should be able to talk about evil men without talking about their race, because the race doesn't define their evil. The evil defines
I
their
will say this
evil.
about Katt Williams, though.
He's funny as hell. He's
Some
one of the best.
Some of the things that the brother said.
That's Short King right there, Katt Williams.
I think that he should have kept some of that private.
Why? Because he talked about black men
Because-
too?
no,
Because he didn't just
because
talk about white men.
he went on-
He had a lot of
no.
bad stuff to say about black men in Hollywood, like Steve Harvey
but some
and
of
other
the things-
people.
But some of the things speaking about men's wives and things like that.
Well, I mean, if
don't
he's
think
telling the
brother should have
truth,
went that far.
I didn't hear him say anything like criticize any men's wives by attacking the wives' character.
Well, he did criticize Steve Harvey's wife.
Well, I
like
think that he attacked
And I don't think
men's
brother should have did that.
character as it addressed their wives. I don't know. I like the
I think
unbridled
we
honesty.
should always
I don't
leave
think
family alone. Family should be off limits.
Well, I mean, it depends if the family is out there too. So anyway, hey, look, Katt Williams, great guy, funny guy. The truth is that Hollywood is a festering pool of evil. And there is absolutely no doubt that a lot of that evil, for years and years and years, was led by old, powerful white men. But it wasn't their complexion that defined their evil. It was their evil. And that's the same with black male criminals in America, right? Racists, white racists, the ones that actually wear sheets and hoods and cut out eye holes, they like to condemn all black men because of the actions of a man that the only thing they share with is the color of their skin. And now in America, that is absolutely unacceptable. And the truth is that when you've seen a lot of people like Jamel Hill sticking up for Claudine Gay while condemning white people generally, basically saying white people bad, black people good. And the truth is, whether you're good or bad is not at all defined by the color of your skin. Instead, like Dr. King said, it's the content of your character. And we need to return to a space in America that was only around for a little bit, maybe a little bit in the 90s, right? Where we looked at what people did, where instead of using new coded language like equity to make discrimination okay, we need to get back to trying to obtain equality for those people who put in the equality of effort, that they achieve the same goals, no matter what their skin color.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is very hard sometimes to sit here and listen to some of the absolute foolishness that is being said from my co-host here. For him to say that we need to get back to a time in America where we once were not too long ago, seeking equality. America ain't never been there about seeking equality for black, brown people in this country, in particular black men and women of America. We need to go back to a time. Go back to what time? America ain't never been good at any time to us like we as black folk have been good to her. What we want is a better America, a wiser America, and a more righteous America. But until America, I believe, goes back to seeking God and putting God first, black men, white women, all races, until we bring God back to the forefront of our lives in this nation, we are not going to get any better. In fact, all of us are going to go to hell with our eyes wide open. Hollywood is nothing but the catalyst. It's the vanguard of pushing filth, immorality, and indecency all across this country. Let's get better, brothers and sisters, as a whole in America.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.